Hello, my name is Martin Schultz, and today I'll be giving you a presentation over a career possibility that deals heavily with communication. When I was a young child, my friends and I were commonly asked the question of what we wanted to be when we were older. Three common answers that were the most popular were professional athlete, fireman, or police officer. Law enforcement then was highly regarded as an upstanding and noble job. Today, on the other hand, law enforcement typically gets a bad reputation, and the only time you really hear about law enforcement is whenever an officer or agency is caught up in a controversy or mishandling a situation. People probably don't really consider a career in law enforcement to have much to do with communication. However, the two go hand in hand. Nearly every aspect of the job deals with communication, and how crucial it is to communicate appropriately at all times. Having studied communication for 2 years now, I know that multiple people in law enforcement field deal greatly with communication and have a major impact on citizens around the world. Though tough at times, obtaining a job in law enforcement is a gratifying job that deals with people at their worst. This requires diligent communication skills that help people in the community as a whole. A career that provides meaning. So what is it? What is law enforcement? According to an online article, law enforcement officer and legal definition, it stated, a law enforcement officer is a government employee who is responsible for the prevention, investigation, apprehension, or detention of individuals suspected or convicted of offenses against the criminal laws. According to the Oklahoma Department of Public Safety, there are two communication areas that Oklahoma Highway Patrolmen deal with daily: community relations, and public affairs. The various job responsibilities under these two categories are: assist as required with speakers and representation at community events across the state, provides the public and media with information about DPS and its division through new releases, the DPS public website and social media outlets. Maintains the agency's Facebook and social media page. Works daily with the local, state, and national media outlets, following the Open Records Act and agency policy procedures when releasing information. This career is very involved with public relations, and often officers are the ones that have to give an account for crisis situations to the public, to news, media, what have you. Law enforcement officers, whether consciously or unconsciously, practice crisis communication. According to Mark Sheena and Deirdre Quinn Allen in their book Crisis Communication in a Digital World, crisis communication is a process that organizations employ to manage risk in instances of a crisis. It is divided into three phases: pre-crisis period, crisis response, and post-crisis period. Law enforcement officers are involved with each of these steps during a crisis situation. Now that we have covered exactly what working in law enforcement is at its base, along with how integrated communication is in this career choice, I would now like to inform you of the applications and benefits of choosing this career. Like I aforementioned, this job is a noble one that is and should be highly regarded to the citizens it serves. The main goal of law enforcement is to provide and serve its people, giving them a sense of security. Community relation is a big part of what they do. There are great benefits to this because the amount of influence and change that these men and women have on afflicted people is great. A good law enforcement officer does what he or she does for the better of everyday living and for everyone around. Being able to communicate effectively to help someone in their worst times is a great benefit to this job, and that is what intrigues me most. It is a very rewarding job. Now that we know that law enforcement is, and one of the many benefits this career offers, I would like to cover the implications along with some of the skills law enforcement officers should be equipped with. The implications of this job are that it's ongoing and the need for law enforcement officers will always be a thing for as long as the law stands. Furthering communication skills will always be the benefit to working in law enforcement. Some skills and motivations that the law enforcement need include gaining trust and rapport of the public. This is achieved by noticing people's body language, actively listening, noticing tones, attitudes, empathizing with people, and choosing different forms of delivery to achieve what is necessary to assist the public. Also, recognizing cultural differences that may arise in crisis situations. Is it important to know the differences are social constructed? In fact, according to Dennis K. Mumby in his book Organizational Communication, he states differences are naturally occurring. There are social constructions that get normalized and institutionalized in organizations. Because of this, I believe law enforcement officers should be skilled in recognizing differences and always side with justice without any biases. So in conclusion, now that we have looked at law enforcement and what it is, some of the benefits of working in law enforcement, and the implications that there will always be jobs to fill, my hope is that you see that working in law enforcement is a suitable and possible career choice that is very connected to communication. My name is Martin Schultz, and I've enjoyed presenting to you how communication and working in law enforcement go hand in hand. Thank you.